The next thing to work on is the fingers. We'll switch back into setup. Middle mouse click on Nate wrist R. We're going to switch to a top view and we'll zoom in. Use the plus key on the keypad to add a bone to the wrist bone. And go to the Bone tab. We're going to uncheck Align Z to Parent. Move this back on Z and up on X. You notice I'm moving in parent coordinate systems. I can move this on local axes just by right mouse clicking. We'll rotate this on heading and then right mouse click and move it on local axis till it matches up with the first joint of the thumb. We'll switch to a perspective view. Use the A key to center our selection. We're going to move this down on Y. Pitch it down a little and make sure it sits right in the middle of the thumb bone. Plus key again. We'll pitch this one down a little bit more. Adjust the length. Plus key again and pitch it down slightly more. Go to a top view. We're going to adjust the heading on each of these until they're right in the middle of the fingers. Let's expand here. We'll name this first one Thumb Palm R. The second bone Thumb R. And the third bone Thumb 2R. Do the same operation. Middle mouse click on wrist R. Plus key to add a bone. Uncheck Align Z to Parent. Move this in on Z. Over on X in parent coordinate system. Rotate it out on heading and adjust it so it reaches the tip of the knuckle. Switch back to a perspective view. Center our selection. Let's move this one down on Y until it's right in the middle of the knuckle. Plus key again. We'll pitch this one down to match first knuckle. Plus key again. A little bit more. And plus key again. We'll call this first one Index Palm R. The next one Index R. Index 2R. Index 3R. Go back to a top view, and instead of repeating the create operation, we're just going to use the multiply key to clone this entire hierarchy. You can also find that in the Skeletons tab. Move this one down on parent X, rotate it on heading, and adjust the lengths until they match up with the next joint. Probably should match up this set too. Go back to a perspective view. Just check to make sure they're in the middle. Adjust the length so they match up with the character's joints. Call this next one Middle Palm. Middle R. Middle 2R. Middle 3R. Do the same thing. Multiply key on the keypad to clone the whole hierarchy. Move this one down on X. Move it back and rotate it and adjust it on heading. Switch to a perspective view. Let's check our depth. Adjust the length as needed to match each of the joints. Let's go back to the top. I'm going to name this one Ring Palm R. Ring R. Ring 2R. Ring 3R. Tap the multiply key to clone the branch. Move this one back a little more. Out on parent X. Rotate it on heading and adjust the length of of each of the bones and orientation to match the knuckle joints. Switch to perspective view. Looks good. We'll call this one Pinky Palm R, Pinky R, Pinky 2R, Pinky 3R. Now this is the basic branch setup for the hand. You can go into animate and you can play around all we want with each joint. We're going to control most of these joints with armatures later on in the tutorial. We need to set up one more expression for each of the fingers. So go to the Command tab. We're going to create a new variable. We're going to call this variable Nate underscore thumb curl R. I'm going to go to the Expressions tab and find an expression called Inherit End. What Inherit End does is it takes the angle from the very tip of the branch and applies it down to a base. So we'll start with thumb curl R here. We'll switch to a frame the thumb in. We'll highlight pitch because we want it to curl on pitch. So we have Inherit End. Let's read the description. The first object is the root. The root here happens to be thumb R. So highlight thumb R, we'll add that to the first one, highlight the end, add that to the second one, and select pitch under the axis it's supposed to affect. The fall-off frames just mean how many frames it looks ahead. We're going to set that to 0, so it's going to look at the current frame. Right mouse click on the pull down menu to add that to the selection. So when we pitch down, the thumb operates both of them. We do the same thing on the next variable. Create a new variable. We'll call this one Nate underscore index curl R. Middle mouse click on the base of the index curl. Go to the expression. We still have Inherit End selected. So we'll put index R in as the base. Go right to the tip. Put index 3R on the tip. It's going to affect pitch 0, 0. Right mouse click to add that. So now we pitch things up and down. The fingers curl over on this finger. Go back to the variables. We'll create another one. Nate underscore middle curl R. Go to the Expressions tab. Let's zip around. We'll center the middle. Select the base, we'll add that to the first one. Select the end to the last one. Right mouse click to add that. We pitch that one, it moves up and down. Go back to variables, create another variable. Ring curl R, Nate underscore ring curl R. Go back to the expressions, grab the ring base, go to the ring tip, right click to add that expression. One last variable, Nate underscore pinky curl R. Go to the Expressions tab, base pinky, add that. Select the tip pinky, add that to the next expression, does pitch, and the frame fall-offs, right click to add that. So now all fingers are being controlled from the front tip finger. This is a basic hand setup. Switch to the File tab. We're going to save this scene as Nate Setup C.fxs.